Welcome back to Finger Lakes today. We are getting ready here for What's Cooking with Jim Sinacropi. Let's see what you made over the last few days here, Jim.
Well, this was, I went to Sackett's Table, 2 Fridays ago maybe, and they had turnips. And we're bringing in Felicia Dombrowski as well. She's quite a good home chef herself.
I try.
And so I went to
Never
Sackett's.
cooked turnips.
Me neither until this dish that I made, because I went to Sackett's Table, got a steak, and they had turnips on the side, and I was like, dang, they were pretty good. So I'm like, I'm going to try to make these. So this meal that I made here was kind of focused around the turnips. I got turnip greens, I got actual turnips, and roasted them like you would potatoes. And then I made a chimichurri sauce, which was another thing that I just kind of wanted to make. And then I grilled yellowfin tuna, put the chimichurri sauce on the tuna. But if you want to roll it, Paul, we'll take a look. So there's the turnips.
Yeah, I've never even eaten one, I don't think. So
I think that you'd like them. I think everybody would. I think people are kind of scared just because they're so kind of different. But I cooked them very similar to how I would potatoes. So first thing, you got to peel the skin off of these things. I don't have a very good peeler.
You need one of those things that you turn it and it peels it.
Yes, like an apple peeler.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would work good for these turnips. And the turnips are really hard, maybe a little more at this point, harder than a potato. So you dice them up as I did here. And if I was to go back and do it again, I would do bigger pieces, I think. I might have diced these a little too small. I mean, smaller. They were fine, but so just like potatoes, before I roast them, I would boil them to cook them a little bit so the roasting doesn't have to do all the work. You don't want them to burn too much on the outside. So now they're a little softened up. Put a little olive oil on there, a little crushed red pepper, a little dried Italian seasoning. Yeah, there it goes. And then mix that all up. Turnips.
So is it like when you got your steak, it's like the vegetable is the side?
Right.
Or is it a replacement of a potato? Okay.
Yes, they were the side that
like
day.
The
for
veggie
the
side.
steaks.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were cooked just like I'm cooking them here. Matter of fact, I asked Chef Patrick at Sackett's how he cooked them. And so this is how he did. I don't know if he put the crushed red pepper on there. But anyway, spread them out now on the baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Put them in the oven, I think 425. And now we get to work on the chimichurri, which I love a good chimichurri. A lot of parsley. This is just your standard Italian parsley. Dice it up really good.
You need an herb thing like I have.
An herb chopper.
Yeah,
I think
they're
I
the
have
best.
one. I like chopping though. I like.
To an extent, but then, I get tired. If
Yeah,
you're cooking
it
a
is.
complicated dish and you have a lot to chop,
Right.
it's really convenient. I love it for garlic too, because I don't love the garlic pressed. But
No, I don't like the garlic press
Yeah.
either. I chopped up some basil. Now just one red Fresno pepper to add a little color to the chimichurri, basically, into real fine small pieces, and then one or two. I think I just went with one clove of garlic. Again, dice it up nice and fine. And then that'll all go together into a bowl. And then we'll squeeze some lime juice into that bowl. Now look at that. Like, I get excited when something
that
looks
looks
like that. Nice and fresh and green. So get that lime juice in, and then you're going to hit it with a healthy dose of olive oil. There's some more crushed red pepper. And then quite a bit of olive oil. You almost want it swimming in it. And chimichurri might not necessarily be a thing you would put on seafood as much as, but I felt like I wanted to, so I did. I put a healthy dose of Italian seasoning in there as well, and then red wine vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, and then stir it up. And you could eat that right with a spoon right there.
that looks good.
Chimichurri.
Any tiger sauce? I usually see you put tiger
at
sauce
the
on
end, I
yourself.
put tiger sauce on the turnips, I think. So a little crushed red pepper, why not? And a little more, that's some salt, sea salt I'm grinding up on there as well. Taste it. add some more if you feel like you need to. This is Chesapeake Bay seasoning.
Oh,
It's
I have
just a
that.
spice blend, yeah, and it goes really good with seafood. I like sometimes to try to make seafood have a more of a meaty flavor, and this Chesapeake Bay seasoning kind of does that. So I wasn't really thrilled with these yellowfin tuna fillets. They were frozen, and thawed them out, and I wouldn't say they were the star of this dish, but just coat them with that Chesapeake Bay seasoning, a little olive oil. Then I take the turnips out of the oven and just kind of toss them around. You can see how the pieces that were face down are now starting to brown. So you want to just mix them around so they get even brown. And these are the turnip greens. I like to cut out those stalks. I don't personally like to eat stalks, so I take the time to kind of remove the big ones. And I did. These turnip greens weren't on the top of the actual turnips I used. I bought them separate, but I figured if we're going turnips, we might as well go turnip greens. The main theme being turnip. So now that those are all prepared, I just coarsely chop them. And then we're going to saute those. Eventually put the roasted turnips on top. So a little butter, half a stick. And turnip greens are, like a lot of vegetable greens, are kind of bitter. So I'm going to work to kind of minimize that. There's some Calabrian peppers. Those are really spicy, so you don't want to use too much.
That looked like a lot.
Maybe it was a lot, but it didn't spice it up too much. So now we just throw the turnip greens in there. And lemon, why not? Lemon makes everything better. Lemon or lime, fresh squeezed lemon or lime juice makes everything better, in my opinion. Except cereal. Don't put it on your cereal, Nate.
Why not?
And then we toss those around. And you see when you toss the greens like that, they kind of bulk up. So you better loosen them up a little bit so they cook evenly after you toss them. And there's the turnip greens cooking down. A little more lemon juice. Some sugar and cinnamon, which is something I like to do with almost everything. That does go good on cereal. And
Snap, crackle, pop.
toss it up again and loosen it up so it doesn't just sit in that big clump. They tend to stick together, those leaves. Then head out back. I got the grill fired up, 500 degrees. Going to throw those yellowfin tuna fillets on the grill. They'll only take about 5 or 10 minutes. I didn't flip them or anything. I just put them in there and close the lid. Usually this would be the star of the show, right? The protein.
Yeah.
But I kind of treat it as an afterthought with this meal. There they are, the roasted turnips. They came out really good. I recommend you try these if you like roasted potatoes. Cook them exactly like you would the roasted potatoes and tell me what you think. They very similar to potatoes, just have a little distinctive taste. So these are done. And we'll bring them inside and we'll put everything on the plate. I got some rice. I got our turnip greens. And there's the roasted turnips on top of the turnip greens. See how nice and charred and brown they are? Put a little chimichurri on top of the rice, just a little. And then we're going to put the tuna on top of that. And then we're going to really load up the chimichurri on top of the tuna. Chimichurri is great, especially with a steak.
Yeah, it's delicious with a steak.
And it's a fun word to say, too.
Chimichurri.
That looks like a nice, healthy, hearty meal.
It was.
Oh, there's the tiger
There it
sauce.
is.
Yeah, I just sprinkle it on the turnips a little bit, and there you go. And it was, like I said, the tuna was kind of an afterthought. It wasn't fresh tuna. It was frozen. It was okay, but the turnips were great. I can't wait to make turnips again. And the chimichurri was fun to make too, and good. So pretty simple stuff there. But the main point of that was like, eat some turnips, y'all.
Yeah, cook and eat some turnips. I don't know if Tyler's going to eat the turnips, but I'm going to
Don't tell them they're turnips.
Tell them they're potatoes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
put them on the plate, and it does. It is different. I think it's a little better than roasted potatoes. Honestly, roasted potatoes are kind of you know, the outside, the crunchy part, the seasoned part is good, but when you get to the inside, it's just potato.
Oh, I love roasted potatoes.
Oh, the SMS,
Big fan.
Paul can probably definitely attest to the SMS roasted potatoes are game changer. Have you ever had those?
The best. I
They're-
prefer them like morning after.
Yes.
I like do them like with eggs and stuff. Oh, they're so
You could do a morning after. They're delicious fresh too.
So what
but
do they do that makes them so good?
I don't know. My papa does something, and they are just like you can literally just I can eat an insane amount of them.
Put them in
but
some ketchup. They're so good.
they're my you don't even need ketchup on these because they're like in this. I don't even know if it's an insane amount of oil or what it is that he does, but they're just so good.
Does he roast them?
Yeah. But they're crunchy on the outside, but yeah, they're a lot of flavor.
So the turnips, I think, when you eat them, the first bite is like a potato.
Yeah, does it taste like, what is the texture like?
It's just like a potato, but it has a subtle flavor that can only be described as turnip on the inside.
Right.
But it's not an overpowering flavor. It's not something that I think that anybody wouldn't like. It's just a little different than a roasted potato. So there you have it. If you're thinking about a side for your dinner you're cooking this weekend, try turnips.
I
Gonna
like
give
that
it a
idea.
try. Probably not this weekend, but